Thank you. My name is Cynthia Hiatt. I'm the legal counsel for the Commission for Human Rights. The Commission for Human Rights supports Senator Goldin's bill to repeal voter ID. The U.S. Supreme Court has seen fit to say that people with lots of money can spend lots of money to influence elections. People who are poor don't have that option. What they have is their vote. And it's our contention that voter ID discourages people who are poor from exercising this fundamental right. Studies have shown that significant numbers of people do not have the ID needed to vote under this law, varying from 1% to 11%. I agree with Jim Vincent that any number is too high. A high percentage of those without IDs are minorities, older individuals, people with disabilities, and people who are poor. I've heard people say we need IDs in daily life, and they talk about airplanes and credit cards. But people who are poor don't go on plane rides and don't have credit cards. In reducing fraud at one end of the process, the in-voting process, you're still leaving the back door open. The mail-in ballots do not require ID. So there's still an option for people to be fraudulent in the system, but you're discouraging the people who want to come in to vote if they don't have ID. I would argue that provisional ballots are not the answer, because I think a lot of people are discouraged. I think what they hear is you have to have voter ID. They hear that and they don't come. I agree we don't have the statistics because they're not coming, because they're discouraged, because they don't have the voter ID. I also think provisional ballots are confusing. I was looking up some of the provisions today. I remember about 8 years ago, whenever voter ID first came in at my polling station, I heard the poll worker say to someone, "Oh, you can have a provisional ballot, and you have to go down to the Board of Elections tomorrow to get your ballot counted," even though that's not what the Act says. But if a trained poll worker is confused about the requirements, I think a lot of the people who go to the polls will also be confused. I think the essence of democracy is for all of us, the rich and the middle class and the poor and all the races, and people with and without disabilities, all of us, to be able to vote. And I urge you to support Senator Goldin's bill.
Senator Lombardi.
Thank you. Ma'am, do you have, you said there's a percentage of the poor and the minorities that do not have IDs. If I'm misquoting you, I apologize. Is that
No,
what you
that's
said?
correct.
Okay. Are you defining IDs as driver's licenses?
I've seen a couple of studies, and again, I wish they were pinpointed more to Rhode Island, but they said that the kind of IDs needed in voter ID laws are not possessed by between 1% and 11% of eligible voters.
Did they, if I can just follow, all of these new categories of IDs, both photographic and non-photographic IDs, were that considered in that study of 1 to 11%?
Yes.
So they took a look at the Rhode Island bill, is what you're saying?
No, but they looked at states that were even more restrictive. I mean, even less restrictive than Rhode Island. I'm not saying it's perfect, because we don't have perfect statistics in Rhode Island. But I am saying, along with Mr. Vincent, that there is a significant percentage of the population that is eligible to vote that does not have these IDs. And also that since you can have fraudulent mail-in ballots, since there still can be fraud in the system, why discourage people who want to come in to vote?